This is Kate Baconsale. You're listening to Baconsale.
I like to buy the world a home and furnish it with love. Grow apple trees and honey bees and snow white turtle doves. Ooh. I'd like to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. Boom, boom. We welcome you to Baconsale with Jacob, Joel, and me.
Whoa. Yay! Even rhymed it.
Yeah.
Yay!
I can rhyme sometimes, guys.
Welcome to Baconsale. I'm
impressive.
Joel.
I'm Kent.
And Jacob.
I've been humming that all day long.
I'd like to buy the world a Coke. Thank you for listening to our, well, you know what? Moment of silence for Halloween past.
Oh.
We're sad to be out of Halloween.
Hey, that wasn't a moment of silence.
Oh, yeah.
We're sad to be out of Halloween, but we are happy to move forward with some more shows before we get our season finale here at the end of the year. But we want to also mention that we will be doing a Quick Wits Baconsale night.
Yes. Much like last year.
Yes, on Saturday, November 16th at 10 p.m., we will be at the Midvale Performing Arts Center in Midvale. That's why it's called the Midvale Performing Arts Center.
You can find it at qwcomedy.com.
Or go to the Quick Wits Facebook page. But if you are there for
me, okay.
If you are there for Baconsale night, let them know, and you'll get in 2-for-1 tickets to see the show, see the improv show.
Also, if you're on the Bacon Council,
you get 2 free tickets.
Yeah.
Good job.
So thank you, Bacon Council.
Come on by. Come early. We're probably going to stop by for food before, maybe Leatherby's, maybe somewhere nearby.
Some ice cream we did last time. We're still working out the details.
Yeah, we haven't figured it out yet, but
honestly, come early because seats filled up last time.
They did. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And also, we'd like to thank you for listening to our last show, our last Halloween show of this season.
Oh, can we just do another month of Halloween shows?
I would love to, but everything in its season, like I tell my kids. So we did our decade of horror, meaning the best films from the last 10 years, and you gave us some feedback, such as Marley Farron, who says, I hate you both.
What?
Jacob's free from
I
this.
love feedback.
Wait, just both?
She says, I hate you both. I mean, it's my fault for watching the trailers while listening to this podcast, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be up all night with nightmares. Those Korean movies are horrible, and my daughter thinks she needs to watch The Ring, which is a movie I don't ever want to watch again. Ugh, I need to go watch something not scary now. Oh, and I loved Quiet Place.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marley. Also, we got a comment from Chris Strout, who said, currently watching Tucker and Dale vs. Evil for the first time, and I'm dying. Why did it take me so long to watch this movie? It is seriously so clever.
It's a hidden gem. Yeah.
It is, and it flew under the radar. Speaking of Chris Strout.
Yeah, new patron time.
Yeah.
Ooh, they have a theme song.
So Chris is a new I Am the Listener patron, and thank you for your support, Chris. We appreciate
Thanks, Chris.
it.
Yeah. Chris is also, I don't want to say this out loud, but he's part of a Krampus group. Krampus 801 is a Facebook group he's part of.
Why would you invoke his name so close to the end of the season?
I'm very sorry. But yes, go check it out if you have the time and if you're interested.
Yes, we've turned the lights back on here in the Bacon Cave because it's no longer scary season. It's fun season.
I think it's like Ratitude season or something.
Ratitude?
Yeah, Ratitude. We're talking about Weezer's Ratitude the whole month. It's Gratitude.
Gratitude season. We are thankful. We are thankful.
Hurley will be next
patrons.
month.
But yes, thank you for your support. But that's not what we're talking about today. What are we talking about today, Jacob?
We're breaking some kind of weird new territory here, and we're going to talk about soda.
Soda pop.
All things.
Do you call it soda or do you call it pop?
Well,
or do you call it Coke?
I definitely do not call it pop. I don't know if I've ever called it. I'll get a pop.
Yes, you have. Everyone called it pop once.
I don't think so.
Because it's easier to say.
Maybe as like a kid.
Hey, want to buy me a pop?
No, that made me cringe.
Hop on pop?
No, what?
No.
Why are we talking about?
Keep trying. Though.
It's about soda, right?
Soda pop. I did hear soda pop a lot as a kid.
No, apparently, like pop is much more kind of a northern thing, and then you get soda over here in the west.
Should we have just done the whole show on this?
And Coke down in the south.
And actually, in England and Australia, they call it fizzy drinks. The Irish call them minerals.
That's a crappy name.
But we are going to be ranking and tiering your favorite sodas and some of your non-favorite sodas.
And giving
today.
some history and little tidbits.
That's Baconsale.
And because there are so many sodas to cover,
too many,
we're going to make this another show far down the line.
Yeah, like we're doing kind of a part one right now.
Yep.
What particular sodas are we talking about, Jake?
Coca-Cola and some indies.
And Shasta. So this is kind of more of the, like, we're not going to get into some of the Pepsi products, obviously, in this one. We're going to save those for another show.
And Dr. Pepper, we're sorry.
We're focusing on, we could not find a way to break these down. Kent was like going to do like a dark drink versus
It
light
got a little
drink thing.
shady, honestly.
Shady.
Yeah, yeah.
But we decided this would be a good way to cut it. So we are going to be ranking these. We have 24 sodas that we're going to be tiering. We're going to be giving 8 tier 1s being the best, 8 tier 2s being the middle ground, and 8 tier 3s being the bottom.
And while we're at it, we do have some factoids about these particular sodas, along with our opinion. And I do want to start with some facts about soda in particular.
Okay.
Sodas were created, a lot of them were about 120 years ago, like right around the turn of century to the 19th century and the 20th century.
As a health food.
As a health food.
And medicine.
Like in pharmacies, they were used as cure-alls for impotence, stomach pain, scurvy, alcoholism, opium addictions, nervousness, and much, much more.
Well,
Jacob
the truth
has
is-
all those.
Oh, and it's helped me with all of them.
Now I'm going to go over those again, Jake. Listen closely.
No. Let's not go over it again. Let the audience rewind that. But it is funny because like you get like these medicinal things in there. I mean, if you look at Coca-Cola, for example, we'll talk about that later on. But like the Coca-Cola company was largely at the beginning a medicinal product.
Yes.
Like a pick-me-up kind of a thing full of cocaine
And then some.
caffeine.
Yes.
But that's not the point.
Did it have caffeine from the beginning?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I thought that was just the thing it added later when they had to get rid of
We'll
cocaine.
get into that when we talk about
People may wonder what the term soda is from. It's actually from, well, sodium. And so sodium is a common mineral found in natural spring water. And the word pop was first used in 1812. 1812.
The war?
I think that's 1912, because come on. Yeah, it's 1912. 1912.
Do we need to fact check this before we continue?
Don't edit it out. I like it.
And it was referred to the sound of a carbonated beverage opening.
Makes sense.
Which they
Okay.
didn't have in 1812. That's crazy.
Maybe they did. You don't know. You weren't there for that war.
I wasn't. Maybe that's what the war was over?
It was the Cola Wars of 1812.
With Pepsi and Coke? Was Ray Charles there?
Yeah, he was. You got the right one, baby. So many slogans.
The elephant in the room is that soda is apparently very unhealthy.
Apparently,
I don't really want to bring this
Coca-Cola
up
tells me I have to have a Coke in my hand for a healthy lifestyle.
every day.
Yeah.
But we've skirted over the poor health in other foods.
Oh, we ate all the menu items at McDonald's, Burger King, and Taco Bell. I don't
Yeah.
think soda is going to be the thing to do us in.
Oh, that made me shudder.
It might be. So Americans consume over 1.7 million tons of sugar every year from Coca-Cola alone. This is equivalent to 10.8 pounds of sugar per person per year.
Oh my gosh.
Soda is the largest source of added sugar in American diet. So
Believe it.
That makes sense.
like we all have sweet tooths, we eat donuts and all this kind of stuff. Soda is the number one source of sugar.
Well, because it's not like
you want a sip of your Mountain Dew?
Yeah. It's Diet Mountain Dew, Jake.
Okay.
Oh, so aspartame.
Yes.
But that's the thing is like this is the reason I think soda is one of the most consumed things, one of the most sugar content that we get is
Yes.
because this is something you just kind of put to the side of your desk, take a sip every now and then. It's not a food that you're eating that you have to wipe your hands or use utensils.
Right.
It's easily digestible. Well, easily ingestible.
Yeah, that's a better way to put it. Yeah.
And that's why I think people just kind of down it. And people do drink soda kind of all day, every day.
What? Hold on.
Yeah, Kent's drinking his right now. Kent literally has to have a drink.
Not a drink, a specific drink.
A Mountain Dew or a Diet Mountain Dew.
44 ounce.
44 ounce
Diet Mountain Dew.
after lunch
With
and
2
before
grape
recording.
squirts and 1 mango squirt.
Oh my gosh.
Every single time.
Oh, nice.
For me, it's better than water because the caffeine helps, the carbonation helps. I'm a little addicted. This is where I'm coming from.
Okay.
I have drank soda my entire life, like probably from 8 on. And
I thought you were going to say out of the womb.
maybe
Your mom's like, here you go.
one of my first drinks like that I loved when I was probably 10 was Coke. I don't know why I like Coke so young because I would feel like Coke is kind of an acquired taste drink.
Yeah.
But then I've moved on to like root beer and
Probably
red
just the
cream
sugar.
soda and whatnot. But yeah, Coke was one of the first drinks I loved. It's just crazy. And so since then, I mean, I've moved to diet soda at this point because, well, I don't want to die. I just want my eyes to fail me. But I really can't get enough of it. It's my biggest vice. I can't say my one vice. It is the
Your
biggest,
biggest
vice I have.
is probably Baconsale, and then the second is soda.
It totally.
I gotcha.
All at the same time. That's why I do it together.
Oh,
So,
okay, yeah,
what
yeah.
about you guys? Like, what's
This is
your
a good night for
history
you.
with soda? Like, do you enjoy it? Do you seek it out? Do you crave it?
Well, my mom would call it a soda pop, and if I was good, I would get one.
It was like growing up.
Yeah, that was it. She was like, if you're good, we'll get you a soda pop.
And so you never got soda.
And so
up.
I was always like, oh, Mom, every time you say that, it makes me not want to drink it. You know, when I was like,
because it's a reward.
I was like, quit trying to make it sound cool in the 50s. Like, you know,
you want a soda pop? We'll go to the soda jerk.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I was drinking soda from a pretty late age, actually, because my mom never let me have anything. I was like the kid at school that always had like the carrot sticks and stuff when everyone else had like Twinkies. And so that was me. And my mom still talks about that because she thinks it's really funny.
Is it funny?
Yeah.
That you had such a sad
She's
childhood?
like, remember when you came home and you're like, how come none of the kids like spinach?
Mom, can I have some more superfoods?
Yeah, exactly. So soda came a little bit later, and then Dr. Pepper was the first one for me.
Okay.
And that was
tasty. Do you still like Dr. Pepper?
You know, I liked it as a kid. I didn't drink it for like 15 years, and then I started drinking it again several years ago. And yeah, I'll rotate through it. I like it. Diet Dr. Pepper. Or I don't know if we're going to talk about this, the 10-calorie thing that they do, which is cool.
Yeah, we'll kind of talk about that.
Yeah. Joel?
For me, my earliest memories of soda is Shasta. Like my grandparents, my mom's parents, their fridge always had Shasta in it. And so every time we go over to Grandpa and Grandma's, we were able to get a can of Shasta. Like we could get one. And I'll try.
Do you remember a particular
flavors.
kind, or was it just all different
like
kinds?
Root beer and
Man,
kiwi
this is
strawberry.
making me thirsty.
Yeah.
Why don't we have sodas?
Root beer and kiwi.
Kent does. Dang it.
He does. I have water. But yeah, I drink soda all the time. Really enjoy it. In high school, growing up, every day, it was $2. I get $2 for lunch at high school.
Yeah,
$1.50 went to lunch, and I'd buy my meal at school lunch, and then the 50 cents left over, I'd buy a Sprite every time.
You got $2?
Yeah,
I got $1.50, and so I couldn't buy a school lunch and a soda, so I had to buy a Coke and Haribo frogs.
Oh my god,
that was my lunch.
How are you not a diabetic?
I should be. I think deep inside there's a diabetic within me.
Give it time.
Well, I think my inner child became a diabetic.
There's certain times when I definitely crave a soda. Like I really enjoy like sodas with combinations with certain things. Like,
yeah.
Now, in your case, you mean exclusively sugar soda.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Because that's the thing is I don't like diet sodas. The artificial sweeteners don't taste right to me.
Yeah,
not a fan of them. But at the same time, I'm also a cheapskate. So when I go to restaurants and I'm like, they want a soda, I look at them like it's $3 for a soda.
You're right.
I know what the overhead is on this, so you're making bank off of this, and it's healthier for me to go with the water option. So I get water almost every time. So I'm like, hey, look, I'm being healthy. I don't exercise, I don't eat right, but I get water. So
honestly, probably does about the same as exercising.
Yeah, we'll see.
Not drinking soda.
We'll see who dies first.
One time, and this was, we will.
Is that a threat?
We will.
October's
see.
done.
Yeah. I remember. So Joel has this really sensitive palate to the fake sweetener, and
I'm a super taster. Just call me what I am.
Okay, you're a super taste. No, that seems weird.
It's a legitimate term.
It seems more like it's a weakness than a superpower.
It's a super taster.
Okay. So I
Daily Giants did a whole song about it.
No, like when all the the soda shops and everything came out, there's Fizz and Swig and whatever. I told Joel, listen, I can make you a diet soda and you're going to like it. Like I promise you, you're going to like it. And so, were you around for that? I don't think you were. Mm-mm. So we go down. I'm like, I'll pay for it. If you don't like it, I'll $4. I'll drink it.
Sure.
Oh, they are stupid expensive. Well, I got them a small one just in case I was hedging my bets a little bit.
Yeah.
But I go down and I build the perfect diet drink. And there's,
do you remember what it was?
And there's sugar shots in there. I think it was diets. I think it was Sprite Zero.
It was Sprite Zero with like a raspberry puree.
Yeah. I got cream, fruit puree, and some sweeteners in there.
Sounds kind of good so far.
It was stupid good. And Joel takes a sip and he shudders a little bit. And then we keep walking, and I'm like, seriously? And you're like, hold on. And you take another one, and you're like, yeah, I'm gonna have to give this to you.
Well, no, like
you're like,
I
you're like, it's very
so
tasty.
Guilty.
You're like, it's very tasty, but I can't do it.
Yeah,
why not?
What was the artificial sweetener? It does not taste right on my tongue.
Yeah, and even though it was totally covered up with all these other flavors, right? I mean, all there's sugar in there too. He couldn't take it.
I have more taste buds than the average
person. He's a super taster or something. Yeah.
It's a legitimate thing.
That's why I get squirts in my drink, so I don't taste the
diet squirts.
No, well, yeah, that too. So I get squirts before and after.
But I mean, that seems to be the thing, though, is like people nowadays. I mean, before it was like kind of cool to get the different types of flavors you could put in there.
Yeah.
But nowadays it's like every corner gas station has
getting
syrup
like
pumps.
a dirty Dr. Pepper, for example, used to be a big thing, and now you just make your own.
Yeah, but it's also funny. People are like, I'm going to get like a diet soda here and 4 pumps of the sugar syrup. It's like, what are you doing?
I know. Yeah.
That basically kills the sugar-free part.
A little bit.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
All right, well, let's move on. We do have 24 sodas to go through. We're going to tier them 1, 2, 3. And there are even amounts across the board. And so even though Joel may not like as many of these, he still does have to make them tier 1 or 2.
I do want to give one disclaimer at the beginning, too.
Yeah.
Is that when I was a kid, we were talking about earliest memories of soda.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, my mom, I would drive around with her. She was delivering credit reports. Actually, that's what she did for a while there. And she'd drive around in the car, and I'd be in the back seat in a car seat. And she would always have a Diet Coke in the car. And I would drive around, and the smell of cola would be in the air, and I would be getting car sick. And so I have a very strong aversion to cola flavors because they make me feel sick when I drink them.
Wow, that's interesting.
Even though for a lot of kids, it's when you're sick, you have a cola because the caramel helps.
The cocaine, helps all that.
Shut up,
That's
kid.
what my mom always said.
But that's just it. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time that the cola ones are not going to do well with me because they don't sit right.
And
on
there
my
is
palate.
a lot of cola in this
There
episode.
is. So that bias is going to be right up there up front.
It's kind of like you and clove, really.
Ugh, cloves are gross.
Yeah.
But my mom used to drive around with a thing of cloves. She just burned in the ashtray.
So you basically be crying all the time. Smell it,
She would
Joel.
make you breathe in cloves every time you were
Yes.
spanked, I
Yes,
think.
exactly.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I do, however, acknowledge that Coca-Cola and the Coca-Cola company is really big. I have some facts here I want to talk about since this show is the kind of the Coke show.
Well, we're going to get there.
They're the big
Coke.
player. Well, to the drink specifically, but I want to talk about the company. So the company was founded back in 1889. They did soda initially, but now they primarily do syrup. They don't do the bottling. They do syrup and then send the syrup to other places, and other places do the bottling. Like they have one here in Salt Lake City, Utah, where they do the bottling of the sodas, which I thought was so weird. They've also got fingers in different pies. Like they bought Columbia Pictures, way back in the day for $692 million.
Coca-Cola bought Columbia Pictures?
And then they sold it to Sony in 1999 for $3 billion.
There you go. That's business right there.
They have beverage products in more than 200 countries. Coca-Cola is worldwide. And well, not just Coca-Cola, Coca-Cola products, I should say, because it's not just Coke.
It's actually the third most valuable brand after Apple and Google.
Yeah.
Coke.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But they're actually falling on some hard times right now because people are starting to get more
Health conscious?
Health conscious about sugary drinks and,
Yes.
and even like it's sugary drinks or artificial sweeteners. Both of those have kind of a bad rap right now.
They do.
So Coke actually sales were down 11% in 2017. So they're having some little panic attacks, I think, right now.
Well, that actually makes sense though, because I tell you, I go to buy. I'm not going to get sugar, and when I look at the diet ones, I'm like, okay, what other options are there? And they have these like somewhat flavored drinks, and there's no sodium, there's no carbs, there's no sugar, there's no nothing. It's just a lot of them use like oils and stuff to like scent it, like LaCroix, except done better.
Don't mention that name in the bacon cave.
LaCroix started it.
It's gross.
Oh, I know. It's all you drink. Don't say that.
Stop. That's hairspray.
Did your mom used to have cans of LaCroix open when you were punished as
Would
well?
she make me watch R-rated movies?
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was.
Well, I think it's the one thing about Coke though is their marketing is so effective because they're everywhere. Like they'll do exclusive vendor company partnerships where it's like you can only sell Coca-Cola products. Or like
those
on American
jerks.
Idol, almost the entire run of the original run of American Idol, they had Coca-Cola cups prominently displayed.
Yep, all about
on
branding.
the table. And it's gotten so, I mean, Coca-Cola's been around for so long, and it started in the South, but people actually call soda Coke.
Kind of like our moms call every video game console a Nintendo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they have like, they also have tourist attractions they've made, like the World of Coca-Cola, where you can go into and get it and do flavor sampling and get a tour of the history of how Coke is made.
If you go to Vegas, you can go to Coke World, and it really is just like a shop. And don't do it. There's like a Sprite challenge where you can try Sprites from around the world, and it's disgusting.
Disney World has a thing like that where you try all the sodas from the world. I
Yeah.
think it might be a Coke sponsored thing as well.
I'm sure it is.
Could be.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're involved in partnerships with Walt Disney Parks and Resorts, Universal Parks and Resorts,
there it is.
Six Flags, SeaWorld Entertainment. Like they are very prominent. And that's why they're the number one company and why we kind of want to start off with Coke products. So I just want to get kind of an overview of why the Coca-Cola company is the big elephant.
And we'll get
in the soda
there.
room.
When we get to Coke, I want to give about some history
I have
about
a lot more facts. too.
Yes,
but
exactly.
let's jump into
All right,
it.
let's jump in.
So we have tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. Play along at home.
All right, our first soda is going to be Bargs.
Barks.
I always say Bargs.
It's not a G, it's a Q.
Ken?
Bargs has bite. It's Barks.
Barks?
Yeah, it's Barks.
That
Bark
sounds,
and bite.
That sounds like three different ones.
It's Barks.
Barks.
Barks?
Yeah.
Not
It's a Q.
Bargs. Bargs. It does sound like a G. That is a G. You're
It's
right.
a lowercase Q.
Yeah.
Barks. Bargs is what we're going to go with. Bargs. I'm going to have to change my whole life now.
What have you
Thanks
been
a lot,
drinking?
guys. Barks.
You're not confident in that whatsoever.
Doesn't feel right.
Barks. Hard K.
Barks. Root beer.
Nope.
Yep.
Yep. Okay.
Barks root beer. Okay, so this root beer is notable for having caffeine. Root beer is generally something that every kid wants, but Barks has bite. They want to make sure that you get a little stimulant when you have their root beer.
Except, Kent, in can form, yes.
In can form, but not.
If you are doing the Coca-Cola Freestyle machine,
Which you shouldn't.
which people do.
Why shouldn't you?
Come on. It's tainted.
Him and Abe
freestyle
Yossi,
is
him and Abe
tainted?
Yossi hate
I'll
it.
get it. But even if you get a normal Coca-Cola Classic, you're getting some raspberry juice in there, and nobody
No.
wants that.
Are you
Yeah.
out of your mind?
Him
The
and Abe-
freestyle is like a blessing from heaven.
Thank you.
No
Thank you, Jacob.
way.
I would
Thank
rather
you.
keep the freestyle than like,
You know what
like
you're
one
doing?
of my
Hey, Jacob.
toes.
Jacob. Baconsale approved Coca-Cola.
Stop it.
Freestyle
Stop
machine.
it.
Awesome.
No.
Finger
Finger
boop.
boop.
No.
Boop.
Yes.
You're touching fecal matter on that screen, and you're putting it in your drink.
I use
It's
my knuckles.
gross.
I use my
It's
knuckles.
Baconsale approved. Coca-Cola Freestyle is awesome.
Oh, it is awesome. It's not awesome.
But
it's a
what I was going to
blessing.
say is that
Hallelujah.
if you get it
Thank
in
you,
the
angels who brought Coca-Cola Freestyle.
It's a fountain
to
drink
Earth.
machine.
if you
We
get,
know it's not from this world.
if you get Barks in a can, it could have caffeine. They have
Yeah.
caffeine-free versions, but if you're getting it in the Coca-Cola Freestyle machine, it's caffeine-free because they use the same formula for Barks and Diet Barks on those machines, and the only
Yes.
difference is the sweetener they use. Because Diet Barks is caffeine-free.
I like knowing
naturally.
that because I use the Freestyle, and now I know I'm not getting caffeine for that.
So the
Yeah,
Barks
not gonna wait
Brother
up night.
Bottling Company was founded in 1890 in the French Quarter of New Orleans. And their first soda was actually orange soda. They called it Orangine. And it won a gold medal at the World's Fair in Chicago in 1893.
What event did it participate in?
Best Bargs root beer. So they actually made the root beer around 1900, and it was like kind of low key around, but it wasn't the first root beer. There's Hires before it, and
Okay.
so around 1940, Hires was trying to sue Barks for actually using the name root beer. They're
I think
trying
it's
to trademark.
Bargs.
So they didn't want to use the name root beer, but it was still used.
So Hires, like the hamburger place around here?
Yeah. They
Yeah.
had the root beer. That's what the highest root beer is a place.
And so the difference, real quick, of this root beer compared to most, and I'm sure it's about the same now because it's a lot of just science and formulas,
It's
honestly.
sugar.
But it's sarsaparilla based. There's less sugar and higher carbonation and a more foamy head with this root beer.
Here's the thing. I was like, I've heard of sarsaparilla. Basically, it's root beer. And so I was like, but what is
a little
sarsaparilla
different.
versus root beer? And apparently sarsaparilla is actually a plant from it's made from the sarsaparilla vine, where root beer is actually made from the roots of the sassafras tree.
That's a real thing. That's not a Dr. Seuss term.
It's not a Yosemite
Hop on
Sam.
Pop?
Yeah.
That's
It's
what that book is
sassafras.
from.
Wait,
Yeah.
are you saying you hadn't had sarsaparilla?
No, I've had sarsaparilla, but I was like, what's the difference between sarsaparilla and root beer?
Okay.
But now I know it's sassafras versus sarsaparilla. So
Well, there you go.
There you go.
I just
The
learned
roots
something
of the
today.
sarsaparilla tree or sassafras.
Joel
tree.
just made all that up, actually. It's a funny joke he's playing on us.
This is Barks is interesting because they say they use less sugar in it, but I've always thought that Barks was a little too sweet of root beer for me.
Really?
A little bit.
This one feels more
This one
heavy
feels,
for me.
yeah. For
If-
me, it has
if
like
you-
a bitter, serious taste.
If you ask me, by the way, my favorite drink, like my favorite soft drink,
Joel, what's your favorite drink? Your
Sprite.
favorite
Root
soft
beer.
drink? It's root beer. Okay.
and like which brand? And I'm like, it depends on the day. But Barks never quite hit that mark of my favorites.
Bargs.
Because I felt it like fruity or sweet. I can't put my finger on it, but it's not exactly one of my
See, I
favorites.
never get the sweet thing.
But
And
I
so
still do like it. So
what would it be for you?
It's a tier 2.
Okay. This one's a tier 1. I think the caffeine really puts it over the edge for me. Because it's like, oh, I'm going to have root beer. And I
For the
really enjoy
caffeine.
root beer,
You're
honestly.
like, caffeine, tier 1.
And it's gonna allow me to podcast. So it's a tier 1.
Yeah.
Really enjoy it.
By the way, I did want to point this out that in 1990, Barks partnered with a grocery store in Illinois to create the world's largest root beer float. It was an above-ground swimming pool in the parking lot. It was 1,500 gallons of Barks root beer and 1,000 gallons of vanilla ice cream.
Seems like a waste.
Do you think someone ate that?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Do you think someone swam in that?
I hope
Yeah,
so.
someone
Do you
swam
think someone
in that.
swam in that and ate it?
Yes.
But with your whole body in there?
I'm actually in.
have a
I thought it was a
straw.
waste, and now I'm interested again. Dude, I would take a dive into
By the
that.
way,
Was someone else in there?
That would be. I didn't. Is there someone else in there?
Just you, actually.
by the way-
If it's just me, I'm in.
You say Barks Got Bite, which is the current slogan.
Yes.
They also had Barks Got Sparks, and my favorite, Drink Barks, it's good.
that was so clever.
That was their first slogan.
wow. All right, so
Yeah.
tier 1 for me, tier 2 for
me.
Joel.
All right, next up, Cherry Coke.
The real name is Coca-Cola Cherry. So Coke has been trying to do this one thing in the past decade. They're calling it the one brand strategy. And so most of their products, except for one, goes by the name Coca-Cola. Not a lot of people have adapted this because they call it Cherry Coke, for example, Vanilla Coke. But you're going to see that they really want people to call it Coca-Cola. I don't call any of their products Coca-Cola, though.
You just call it Coke. It's
Yeah, just
easier to
Coke,
say that
right?
way.
So this was introduced in 1985. Diners were obviously making this well before that, using their own syrup.
Yeah, it was like the soda jerks in the day
Yes.
used to put all sorts of mix in. You know how we do that in the dirty gas station pumps now?
Yeah.
They had soda jerks doing it back then. It was like a cool thing.
And so Coke was finally got wise to what was going on. People actually liked it, except for people here in the States.
Not as much.
Internationally, no, in the States it got really popular. Internationally, this thing is, I would call this like the McRib of sodas because they keep like releasing it in other countries for a couple months at a time. Like I remember I was in Australia and they didn't have cherry Coke. And so people would find out I'm American. They're like, oh, how's cherry Coke? Is it delicious? I'm like, actually it is. I didn't think I'd ever be asked about cherry Coke. But it's such a rarity in most other places.
And this is actually the third variation of Coca-Cola at the time. They had the original Coca-Cola, then they had Diet Coke, and then they had Cherry Coke.
But they introduced this at the same time as New Coke.
Which is a
So what was
whole
that?
big
That's the
thing.
80s, right?
Yeah, 85. And so they were like, New Coke and Cherry Coke. And New Coke was such a disaster for them. They
Let's talk about that when we talk about Coke.
Yeah.
Let's save that for the fish.
But
Coke.
Cherry Coke was the one that survived that whole thing.
Okay,
So
running strong today.
I think it's delicious. For me, it's a tier 1.
It's a tier 3 for me.
Whoa!
You know,
is it a medicine value for you?
Okay, so here's the thing. You know, first of all, I talked about the cola flavor not being a favorite of mine.
Yeah, you played your hand about that.
And what do you take when you get sick? Cherry flavored cough syrup.
Yeah.
So this is like kind of like the
That's drugs, though, Joel. Drugs are good when you're sick.
Yeah, why do
They
you hate
don't
drugs?
taste good. They make you feel good.
Ken and I are here to tell you that drugs are awesome.
Kids, don't
Baconsale approved?
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Drugs are awesome.
No,
That's your fault, Joel.
medically prescribed drugs. Sure. Yes.
Yeah, that's what we're saying.
Yeah.
Making sure we're clear on this because my kids listen to this
cherry
show.
flavored, medically prescribed drugs.
Yeah, although I think grape's probably the best cough syrup, but we'll save that for our cough syrup show.
Good heavens help us if
man.
we do that.
So tier 3. Okay.
Tier 3, okay.
Because it is just like the smell. The whole experience is bad
the
for
double
you.
whammy of
Okay.
like the cola plus the cherry. No good.
Okay. I give that a tier 2, I think. It's right
Yeah.
in the middle. It's pretty good, but it's not, yeah.
Would you rather drink a regular Coke over a cherry Coke?
I don't really like Coke.
Wow.
But cherry Coke makes it a little tolerable.
Okay.
Yeah. Next is Coca-Cola.
Always Coca-Cola.
Gather around, children.
Oh man, I have
Ready for a story.
so many thoughts and notes on this.
So we're just going to have to bounce back and forth on
Please
this
do.
one. So let's talk about John Stith Pemberton.
Back in 1886,
So
in Georgia.
1812, I think.
1812. He
That
actually
was
did.
Bargs.
He served.
Oh, okay.
He served in a war. He served in the Civil War. He was actually in the Confederate Army. This is the inventor of Coke.
And he, like we mentioned before, he sold it as a medicinal beverage. It was supposed to be a temperance drink.
Yeah. So
Temperance drink? Like, don't drink beer, have a Coke?
actually, yes.
Oh,
So
okay.
in 1865, in the war, he sustained a saber wound to the chest, and after
Hate
that,
it when that happens.
Right.
He was going to be a sailor, but then he got a saber wound to the chest.
Wait, what?
Remember arrow in the knee? Video game reference. Until I
No.
got an arrow in the knee.
Nope.
Nothing?
No.
It's a meme.
It's a meme.
Like press X
Arrow
to
in the-
Jason. That whole thing.
Ah, dang it. Sorry, Joel.
That's
We didn't get your memes.
Let me know you guys know about the arrow in the knee.
Here, cut all this. Joel's talking about memes. The
Whatever,
kids
Bargs.
don't care about
You said
this.
Bargs for a half hour.
So he got injured in the war, and he got addicted to morphine after that. And so he was like, he's actually kind of this. I would call him a genius, actually, because while he was
Okay.
on
he put morphine in
non-Baconsale
Coca-Cola.
approved drugs, because we can say that,
yes,
right?
yes, definitely.
He actually was seeking like a way to
Are
overcome.
we going to
his-
have a list of Baconsale approved and not Baconsale approved
Save it for our
drugs?
drug show.
Season 8.
Our special PSA drug show.
But he was seeking a cure for his addiction while he was addicted, and so he started experimenting with painkillers.
So he moves from morphine to cocaine. Is that really the moral of this?
Oh yeah, actually.
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. Keep going.
And so, yeah, looking for painkillers, he started using this plant called buttonbush. It's like a toxic plant in Alaska. And then he found coca and cocoa wines.
And the coca leaf is in South America. They have a lot of coca leaves. And actually, my little brother, hey Mike, what's up? He served down in Bolivia, and he said the old men would just sit on their porches and just drag coca leaves through their teeth just to get a little
Not
buzz.
chew it, they would just kind of drag
Well,
it
they
through
chew
their
it up, but
teeth.
they kind of drag it through their teeth, and just that'd be kind of get a little buzz from it. So,
And it actually
that's
has
the thing.
less than like 1% of like cocaine.
I mean, that's how my
honestly.
mom taught me how to do it. So.
See, if you're good, you get a soda pop. Why does she have that voice?
Have a cocaine leaf.
And yeah, so this was Coca's using these coca leaves, the extract in its products from 1885 till about 1903. And so going back to Pemberton,
The coca leaves is what gave it kind of the cocaine, and then
Yes.
the cola nuts is what gave it the caffeine.
And so he's experimenting
whammy.
with all this stuff, and he was like, "Hey, it's not only me that's like addicted to drugs. It's there's a public concern about this." And so
It likes to buy the world of drugs.
Baconsale approved. So he started researching about drug addiction, depression, and alcoholism among war veterans, and then also researched this thing called neurasthenia among highly strung
Pronounced Bargs.
Yeah, among highly strung
that's
Southern
right.
women. And so
Strong G.
this medicine, he said, was going to be particularly beneficial for ladies. And so this neurasthenia is about fatigue, heart palpitations, and depressed mood. And it was associated with farm wives made sick by isolation and the lack of engaging activity.
Have some cocaine.
Wow.
Yeah, basically, he's like, here's some medicine for you.
But call it Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. The Coke.
Yeah. So then they made this drink, and actually it was his bookkeeper, Frank M. Robinson, who named the product and created its logo. So a lot of that credit goes to him. But the funny thing about this is his recipe, the original formula, is like super secret. Like he only told at least four people about it before his death in 1888. And now, according to the company, only 2 employees are privy to the complete formula at any given time, and they are not permitted to travel together.
Are you kidding?
And when one of them dies, the other must choose a successor
It's like a handcuff suitcase.
within the company and impart the secret to that person. Even the identity of the 2 employees in possession of the recipe is a secret. It's kind of ridiculous.
That is ridiculous.
I love that, actually.
Well, and the way they keep the secret, too.
Is this just like a joke, like a
It seems pretty legit.
like a publicity
Well, get
kind
this,
of thing?
Jacob. What they do, to protect the recipe, when they're having the companies make
Yeah, that's what I was
the
wondering.
syrup,
I mean, like we make the syrup, so
they don't tell them what's in it. They give them merchandises numbered 1 through 9, and then the factory managers are told the relative portions of each numbered merchandise. So,
somebody's figured this out.
but they know merchandise number 1 is sugar, and in the form of like high fructose corn syrup. Caramel coloring is number 2. Caffeine is number 3. Phosphoric acid number 4, and then 5 through 9 is where it gets muddled. There's one called Merchandise 7X, and no one quite knows what it is. But it's like
delicious.
Some people say it's a mixture of essential oils like orange, lime, and lemon.
What?
Lavender is another one that's been thrown around. Like
Witchcraft.
But the primary taste from Coca-Cola comes from vanilla and cinnamon with trace amounts of essential oils such as spices such as nutmeg. Maybe that's why I don't like it. It's the whole pumpkin spice thing all over again.
That's so weird. But you think you'd need all the ingredients on the back of a can?
that actually makes
Yeah.
me like it better because like the cola generally when I taste it I'm like ugh, just cola, but like all those those are all nice sounding ingredients.
But together, it's like orange and chocolate. Blech.
So as you were saying,
that's
Joel,
not blah.
That's bleh.
Like-
Baconsale approved it's bleh?
no,
Dang it.
I
Orange
love
and
it.
chocolate, man.
Orange
So-
and chocolate?
Crazy?
No, okay.
The chocolate
Or-
orange. you
chocolate
don't-
oranges for Christmas are blah.
You don't like.
Thank you.
Okay, there we go. Boop, boop. There's a lot of finger boops. Sorry, Jake. We were just on a team.
But by 1895, Coca-Cola was being sold in every single state in the union. This thing went everywhere.
And you're jumping ahead
In
to
the
1895. Like, I want to talk
sorry.
about how sad his death was because, like, most
Bring the
artists.
room down. Why not?
Would. Okay, let's hear
I'm like,
it.
hey, let's buy the world of Coke. Kent's like, owner died.
Like, he was always addicted to morphine. He was never quite able to kick it. And so he actually died, like Joel said, in 1888. And he sold most of his shares. He sold the rights and everything, but he left some for his son. And he's like, I want my son to profit off of what I've created. His son, right after his dad's death, sold the shares for $1,750. And he's like, didn't get any profits from Coke. But he died 6 years later as an opium addict. So he basically sold it
gosh.
for
Jeez.
drug money, not Baconsale approved, and died soon after.
And we can all agree to that.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
But yeah,
do drugs,
Selling
kids.
things for drug money,
So-
not bacon sale approved.
Since 1904, they use cocaine-free coca leaves. So there's still coca leaves, and there's also cola nuts, and that's Kola, and that's the source of the flavoring and also the caffeine. So it's coca and cola. Like there's
Okay,
actually
okay.
the ingredients in the name.
Yeah.
Even though it's mysterious brand X or whatnot.
But then, Jacob, just to answer your question about caffeine that you had earlier, in 1909, the United States government seized 40 barrels and 20 kegs of Coca-Cola syrup because they thought there was caffeine. There was too much caffeine and it was a harmful ingredient. It was going to be hurting people. So there's a whole big case and ended up going to the Supreme Court in 1916. And they ended up coming to a compromise where they were going to let them continue to have caffeine in there, but they had to significantly reduce the amount of caffeine. So this used to be basically like super caffeinated, super.
So they have been
cocainated
like judicially required to
put
reduce
less
the caffeine.
in there. Back in 1916, though.
And that's pre-Monster drinks, apparently.
Yeah.
Just
I
by
know.
a
It
little
makes me wonder
bit.
now what would that do?
That was the War of 1812 was also about
But
energy
like you
drinks.
said, Coke is all over the world, one of the biggest sellers ever. In fact, the Middle East is one of the only regions where Coca-Cola is not the number one soda drink. Like it's number one almost everywhere else. But
And how strange, there's a different kind of flavor everywhere around the world.
it does. That's what I hear.
Like Mexican Coke is delicious. And
That's
I
what
think
I
it may
hear.
just be a placebo.
Well, they say they put real cane sugar in there or something like that. It apparently gives it a better flavor. But
Yeah.
people swear by Mexican Coke. They really enjoy that.
There's also a Jewish Passover Coke. It's kosher Coke, actually.
Yeah, because it's kosher.
Yes.
but apparently the bottles, I think they said,
Are not kosher.
Yeah, not kosher.
not kosher. Like there's something to do with the bottle. No. Oh, what was it? Oh no, during Passover they're not allowed to eat grains and things like that.
That's it.
leaven,
Including
then-
corn. So
yeah.
you can't have the corn
So
syrup.
they put a special kosher friendly,
Yes.
Passover friendly.
So
Coke.
for 2 months out of the year, they release this, and it's this huge seller.
Wow.
Yeah.
kind of crazy. But yeah, like you mentioned before with New Coke, they introduced in 1985. They introduced cherry cola, as you said, but they also introduced kind of a less sweeter, less effervescent version of Coca-Cola in the United States and Canada called New Coke. They changed the formula. People hated it. It was a huge flop. Everyone hated New Coke, and so they quickly
So was it just like a totally new recipe? I mean, what's the story?
They tweaked it a bit. They just kind of they wanted to be like Pepsi started digging into their shares,
And Pepsi is a sweeter drink.
and so they kind of changed their formula to kind of match more of the Pepsi flavor. People hated it that loved Coke, so they ended up flipping it back
That's a
and
stupid
calling
idea.
it Coca-Cola Classic.
Yes.
And then they still had the new version as just Coke. So they had Coca-Cola Classic and Coke.
Do you think-
But then they phased out Coke completely, and now it's all just Coca-Cola.
Yeah. Do you think they'll ever bring back New Coke, kind of like they did with Crystal Pepsi, like
I think
like
they
a little
might.
gimme sort of
Nostalgia
thing,
maybe is a gimmick, but
or
yeah.
just such a, like a
20th
black
anniversary
eye
or something.
Yeah,
Like that already passed.
yeah.
30th?
200th?
Eh,
Yes,
we'll see.
But look, I played my hand. Coke is one of the drinks I grew up with. It is my second favorite soda out there.
Oh,
It is delicious. It is nectar of the gods, as I say.
Your second favorite soda out there?
Yes.
Interesting. I won't ask. Not yet.
so you're giving it a?
Tier 1.
Tier 2. What?
Yeah, tier 1 from Kent, and of course it's going to get a tier 3.
Oh,
from me.
man.
I tried to
I
get,
get
that-
it.
I tried to get this one
Because
up
it's
in
the
the tier.
Godfather, and you got to take down the
Well,
Godfather.
no, I was going to give this one the respect
usually
it
your
deserves.
role.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
is a behemoth, and I was going to give it a tier 2, but I couldn't. Like I kept bumping it down, and it got bumped out.
You're like me on this show. I've given only tier 1 so far.
Wow. Yeah, that's true.
tier 3 for Coke from Joel.
And a tier 2 again.
From you?
Yeah,
Okay.
for me. That's funny. Just to keep it going.
All right, that's probably the most information we have about this. Let's
Yes.
keep moving on.
All right. We're going to stay on the Coke theme for now. We can just wrap this up with Coke Zero.
You mean Coca-Cola Zero Sugar, because that's the name with
Which
one
is
branding.
a terrible way. Like Coke Zero, that's peppy. That's like a good name.
Yeah.
Coca-Cola, what'd you say?
Well, it was Coke Zero
I know, and then they changed it.
and the formula, like as of 2 years ago.
But it's like Coke Zero Sugar now? Is that what it's called or something like that?
Yes.
Yeah. It's they,
So, because it was introduced 2005,
That's
and then
right, that's right.
2 years ago they said we're going to mix it up a little bit.
That's right.
I can't really taste the difference, but a lot of people who love the drink can. I would say this is probably the new favorite of Coke drinkers, of health conscious Coke drinkers.
of male Coke drinkers.
Exactly. Can you tell us a little more about that?
What?
Well, because back in the day, you had Diet Coke, but apparently it was marketed. The marketing people found out that men didn't really want to drink anything called Diet Coke because it
Yes.
was associated with diets. And so then they decided to do Coke
Those
Zero.
men.
It's kind of the cool way. It's specifically marketed
Well,
to men who are shown who
it's-
associate diet drinks with women.
It's not just marketing, though. This has a completely different formula from Diet Coke.
Well, because this one's supposed to imitate the actual Coke flavor,
Yes.
whereas the Diet Coke is
And
its own animal.
It does a really good job. This is
does.
a Coke diet product that I can drink and enjoy. And also going on with what you said, they call this the bloke Coke in the UK.
Yeah,
because
bloke
it's
Coke.
for men. And this is the highest selling new Coke product on the market.
People like it.
And it's in fountain drinks because it's so popular. You know something's made it big when it's in the fountain drinks.
Yeah.
The freestyle machines that
Not
are Baconsale approved.
freestyle, no.
It's the best there, honestly.
Stop that.
In fact, tier 1, and that's largely because of soda shops and the fountain, the freestyle drinks.
And you're a big fan of the diet drinks.
I am.
So what would you give this?
Tier 3. I'm not
You're going to run out.
There's no surprises here. I know. I almost did, actually.
Yeah.
But
It's a
there's no
tier 2 for
surprises
me.
here. Okay.
Yeah, tier 1.
Tier 2, yeah.
Oh, that's funny. We are switching around here, except for Joel. All right.
Predictable Joel.
All right. And finally, Diet Coke.
It's sugar-free, no calorie, and this was introduced in 1982.
So this is one where they had Tab, which we'll talk about later.
Yes.
But this one came along and they didn't want to put Coca-Cola attached to the name Diet. They wanted to keep the brand integrity.
Because it's just Coca-Cola forever.
Yeah. And so then, but Tab was doing pretty well and they said, hey, why don't we try something Diet? So they went with Diet Coke. And
Well, and they wanted to compete. A lot of what Coke does is very reactionary. Sure, they were first on the market, but there was Diet Pepsi in 1964, and people liked it.
Yeah, so that became a success, and they're like, oh, maybe it's not so bad to have our name with Diet attached to it.
Yeah.
So they came out with Diet Coke.
They totally copied.
But you're right. They react to almost everything. Almost every one of their sodas and spinoffs is because some other company did something.
They're such a bigger company than Pepsi, which we'll talk about next time. But I did say 9/10 of what they do is copying what Pepsi does.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're doing that. That's successful. Let's do it better.
Yeah.
Or try to do it better.
Now, before we talk about what goes into Diet Coke, because everyone says, oh, aspartame, or they had a Splenda one that Walmart created for a couple of years. Aspartame literally has no ties to cancer or neurological symptoms. Like, there's a lot of research
exactly what
out there.
someone on aspartame, the mind control drug, would say.
Oh, no, because I'm drinking it right now. Mm-hmm. But there are so many chemicals that people say are terrible and they cause cancer in rats. Truthfully, if you drink enough or eat enough of anything, if you don't have balance in your life, you're going to get cancer.
Yeah,
truth be told.
That's true.
But aspartame does not have, and the FDA has approved this, and as much as you trust them, I don't know. But it has
They work for the government.
No ties. Yeah, that's true, literally. No ties to cancer or neurological symptoms.
Also, they have no ties to actual Coke, the Coke recipe. This is an entirely different formula based on the Tab formula. So if you like Diet Coke, you'll probably like Tab, but Coke might taste different to you because it's a completely different recipe.
This stuff's poison.
Which
I
makes
hate it.
Oh, it's terrible.
You hate it?
I hate it.
It's
I hate
tier
Diet
3.
Coke.
You guys realize how many mommy bloggers we're going to offend right now?
I know.
Every time I
love
have to
you
drink
all.
it,
I'll buy you a Diet Coke.
I shudder a little bit. It's like, because there's been a couple of times when I've had
you're like,
to
can
have
I get
something.
a Coke? And they accidentally give you a diet. It ruins your whole day. It's like getting a raisin in your chocolate chip cookie for me.
Hey, guys, come on. Don't be so bad on them. I mean, they're good for Mentos. When you put Mentos in a Diet Coke
For stunts?
and it shoots up, that's
Diet
really
Coke is
cool,
good for stunts.
right?
So basically, we're just playing into the whole man thing because you don't like the diet because
they
it
got
says
a good jingle just for the taste of it. Diet Coke.
If it foams up to meet you.
That was on a Batman ad. I remember Batman back in 1989 had a Diet Coke ad.
Oh, yeah. But it's absolutely gross.
I agree. I didn't know you guys were going to agree. This is a tier 3 for me.
And they've
obviously.
tried to make it fruity recently. Like lime worked for it for a while, but now it's like orange and all orange vanilla and
Blueberry
all this nasty
acai,
stuff.
strawberry guava.
wow, that's a stretch.
They got slim new cans targeting millennials. They got ginger lime, fiesta cherry.
Thanks for saying it in
spicy
this
cherry,
tone.
zesty blood orange, twisted mango,
Ew.
tier 3 grossness. All of them.
Yeah, tier 3 for sure.
Next up is Dad's Root Beer.
So created in 1937 in Chicago by Eli Clapman and Barney Burns. It's owned by...
Interestingly enough, we're not parents.
It's interesting. It's owned by the Dad's Root Beer Company
Yes.
LLC, which is owned by
made that up.
Hedinger Brands LLC. This is one of our random ones, not owned by Coke.
So it's one of the indies. It was really popular in the Midwest, one of the biggest root beers in the 1940s as well. I guess the 40s was a big time for root beer,
Apparently.
I suppose. And also, there's a lot of pioneers here. This was the first product to use the six-pack format, even before alcoholic drinks.
Really?
Yeah, they were the ones that kind of popularized it, which I thought was kind of cool.
And there's a little song that says, if it foams up to meet you, it's got to be Dad's. It's got to be Dad's. If it foams up to treat you, it's got to be Dad's. It's got to be Dad's.
Yep. Also, they had this
If it
jingle.
foams up to beat you,
take it easy. Call the cops.
My favorite, though, I was reading through the jingles, too. My favorite one was Dad's Old Fashioned Root Beer. Dad's Old Fashioned Root Beer. Dad's Old Fashioned Root Beer.
it's terrible.
So clever.
I don't know where. Back in the 40s, you could get away with stuff like that. It's like,
So this is the
conga song.
blue and yellow can. This is probably the cheap one that your parents got.
This is one they give out on Father's Day.
Yeah.
A lot of people will get these.
So Joel, you love root beer,
And
so
this-
I need to know what you think
I actually think this is a good root beer. Like, I enjoy the taste of
because
it.
you're a dad of many.
I am a dad of many. This was actually originally was marketed as a
Innumerable
family.
hosts.
There was a junior bottle, which was 7, 10, or 12 ounces. Mama was a quart bottle, and Papa was a half-gallon bottle.
That's adorable.
I know.
So what do you give this?
This is a tier 1. I'm a fan of Dad's root beer.
It's a tier 2 for me.
That's fair.
Yeah.
yeah, tier 1. All right, next up is Diet Sprite.
In 1974, it was called Sugar Free Sprite, and then it was changed the name to Diet Sprite. In
I thought it was just
1983.
Sprite Zero.
Well, in some
There's
countries,
a Sprite
it's Sprite
Zero
Zero
as well.
And then-
These are different sodas?
but it's also called Sprite Light
really?
in some countries.
I think they kind of...
I like that, actually. That's a pretty good name.
yeah, but I think it's all kind of become one. I think it's now just called Sprite Zero because you never see Diet Sprite anywhere. And you can get this in cherry and cranberry flavors as well. Kind of popular, I guess.
I've had that, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I mean, it's not wonderful.
So
but it's
you
pretty
put
good.
Diet Sprite into Joel's fizz drink.
Yes.
And
or
said it
Sprite
was
Zero.
good, but you put a
Yeah.
lot of juice in there.
Yeah.
Why would you do that? Why would you not just go with the Alka-Seltzer that is Diet Sprite?
Yeah, it tastes like nothing.
Yes. Fizzy nothing.
Yeah, fizzy nothing.
No.
Yeah.
See, seltzer water is
It's like a salty
gross.
fizzy nothing.
This is like just a little bit above seltzer water.
Because there's a little bit of sugar in it. It tastes
Yeah.
like, well,
Well,
not
not sugar,
but
sweetener,
aspartame,
yeah.
sure.
Aspartame.
Yeah.
I give this one a tier 2
Why?
because
You didn't even. You hate diet drinks, and you're giving it a tier 2.
because all the cola ones took up all the tier 3s.
So tier 2 is still really bad.
This is near
Oh,
the
that's
bottom
funny.
because it got bubbled up. It's like carbonated water.
Yeah, for me, it's a tier 3.
I'm okay with that.
Next up is Fanta Orange.
Gather around.
Wanna Fanta? Don't you wanna Fanta? Don't you wanna Fanta?
Joel's a Fantana now, apparently.
I am a Fantana.
Fantana.
Yes, I remember those commercials.
I have another story. Gather round.
Okay. we're
It's
ready.
about Fanta and the origin.
Tell us.
This started in Nazi Germany
Tell us
in
more, Grandpops.
1940.
Wait, what?
I like how Jacob was going for a joke and then he realized you just said Nazi Germany.
Let me tell you about Fanta in Nazi Germany. Preceding World War II. So Nazi Germany obviously had embargoes against it during the war, right? Coke being an American product, no one is going to ship Coke syrup over to them.
Right.
But they still had, it was Coca-Cola Deutschland, still had a huge factory over there. And the guy who was in charge of that, obviously without Coke syrup.
Max Keith.
Yes, he decided to make a new product for the German market. And so he called it the leftovers of the leftovers. So he found German goods and
Like beet sugar,
Yeah.
whey, apple pommes.
what's pommes?
It's like hummus.
You stop that. You don't know that.
Yeah. It's a hummus. Yeah,
it's
for
not.
sure.
It's like I can tell you, it's the solid remains of grapes, olives, or other fruit after pressing for juice or oil. It contains the skins, pulp, seeds, and stems of the fruit.
Yeah.
That was from the top of my head.
Okay. It sounded
So it's
good.
basically apple stems.
So they couldn't really call it Coke because they weren't sanctioned by Coke at that time. They were just running wild. Nazi Germany, take it easy. Yeah, you guys are getting a little skittish right
You're
why you
giggly,
gotta
you're
keep
getting a
saying
little
that?
giggly over there.
So they were
Always
like,
giggles about Nazi Germany.
they're like, what should we call this? And they're like, let's use fantasy, and it became Fanta.
Well, he actually said he told them to
I like the
use
little
their
German
He
accent
said
there.
he said use your
Fantasy.
imagination.
Fantasy.
He said use your imagination, but he said imagination fantasy in Germany. So use your fantasy, and they're like Fanta. It's great.
Yes. So Fanta became like this new brand. And we're not talking about Fanta Orange quite yet. So during the war, the Fanta was rarely used for soda consumption, but rather to add sweetness to and flavor to soups and stews. So no one really drank their version of like cheap Coke.
Yeah.
They used it for stews.
Well, 'cause
and,
all their sweeteners were rationed.
yeah. And so the soda became the sugar, basically. Obviously, Coke didn't claim ownership of it during the war. And then after the war, they were like, hey, what are you doing over here? We're going to shut you down real quick because this is gross and you're evil. And then so they closed down the whole Fanta plant, reintroduced it in 1955. So they waited a decade.
Yeah.
And they said, we might be able to do something with this. And that very same year, in Italy, Naples, Italy, they used locally sourced oranges and made orange Fanta. Mm-hmm. Fanta?
Fanta. Although I say Fanta because in Portugal they have in Europe they have a lot of Fanta drinks.
Yes.
And I remember we used to go to this cafe in Portugal and we would get lanchetas, which are like this delicious. I don't want to say hot pockets. That makes it sound gross. But
Lanchetas.
it's a pastry. Think of a pastry with like ham and cheese inside of it.
Yeah.
So good. And I always get a Fanta.
Orange Fanta?
I get a lancheta especial con Fanta laranja, an orange Fanta. And I loved it. It was a great combination. So this is definitely a tier 1 for me.
Okay, but before I give my tier, I would like to talk about some of the flavors. I think would be very interesting.
Okay.
There are over
100
100
flavors worldwide.
flavors worldwide.
Jeez.
So there's the basic ones like green apple, mango, peach, chocata, sour watermelon, passion fruit, calypso, which is the villain from Twisted Metal 2, elderflower, lychee, bubblegum, pear, peach mangosteen, I think it's a Jewish Fanta. Okay. Banana, cantaloupe. Okay, now we're getting weird. Tender coconut.
Now we're getting
guarana.
weird. Did you say tender?
Yeah, tender coconut.
Okay.
Spider chocolate orange, cinnamon rum, chili pepper, cashew, raisin, and mushroom Fanta.
Oh, the mushroom's actually one of my favorites.
Knock it
Wanna
off.
Fanta? Don't you wanna Fanta?
Mushroom
Fanta.
Mushroom Fanta.
Uh-oh, something's coming up.
They also have,
Mushroom
like,
Fanta.
weird. They have weird names too, like some are like snow squash and hip hop
Yeah.
and things like that. Where it's like even Spider chocolate orange or
You'd
whatever.
wanna
it was.
try.
I was like, what is that?
I would like to try all these except for mushroom.
Mushrooms. I'm going to bring you one. I have like a chest full at home.
Stop that.
Yeah.
But orange Fanta, the standard, is a tier 1.
Yeah, I agree.
Agree. All right, let's go through the other Fantas. Grape.
And we're not going to go through all 100.
So there's not a lot of facts on
We
the
just got a
other
couple.
flavors of Fanta. So I do want to read this from the Fanta Wiki.
Oh boy.
That's a thing. You ready? I'm
right.
going to read it
I'm
the
ready.
way, literally, word for word, the way these people wrote it.
Okay.
Fanta Grape is a delicious grape-flavored soft drink. Fanta Grape is one of the main flavors of Fanta around the world. You can get it almost anywhere for a reasonable price. Fanta is for those with a passion for purple. The crisp, sweet, and refreshing taste of Fanta Grape is pure bliss. If you're a fan of the smooth texture of Fanta, you're going to love this flavor. So delicious, it should come with an addiction warning.
Wait, did they have the at the end, or was that you?
That was me.
You know, Fanta sounded better before you started reading.
I thought I really sold the
Yeah.
grape. If you love the taste of purple,
No, that's
Fanta Grape.
okay. So Fanta Grape was one of those. Grape soda was one of those really delicious drinks when I was a kid.
Yeah.
As
But
I've gotten-
medicine.
Well, as I've gotten older, though, it's gotten a little more diabetes tasting. Like I can taste.
tell me how diabetes tastes.
it's like
purple.
Please go on.
But it's more like you can taste the artificial flavors and
Yes,
colors. Like
right.
you can taste something weird about this. It probably would have got. I don't know. It's a tier 2 for me. Like,
It's a tier 2. You're right.
okay. It's like one where I'm like, I like it, but I don't love it.
And strawberry?
Fanta Strawberry is another drink made by Fanta to taste like strawberries. It is one of the most popular Fanta flavors of Fanta. In Thailand, people usually offering Thai shrine with strawberry Fanta. Let me read that again. In Thailand, people usually offering Thai shrine with strawberry Fanta.
Thai shrine?
Offering.
There was no English
No,
used in
that's
that
not,
whatsoever.
no.
The grammar is
So
bad.
I do want to bring this up too, Kent. That we mentioned how this was created in Nazi Germany.
Yes.
During the regime of Nazi
Well, you got to bring that up again.
because in February 2015, a 75th anniversary version of Fanta was released in Germany. The ad said that the Coca-Cola company wanted to bring back, quote, the feeling of good old times.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Which many interpreted to mean Nazi rule. The ad was subsequently replaced.
Wow. Fascist Fanta.
Fascist Fanta. Don't you want a fascist Fanta?
Strawberry Fanta is a tier 3. This one tastes like dyed sugar to me.
That's one of the most horrifying things I've ever seen on Baconsale. Honestly, it's fascist Fanta. And a dance to go with it.
We went through a month of summoning Satan, and now we're done with that. Now
Yeah,
we're just
now
saying
we're-
fascist
We're going to
Fanta.
summon
But
fascist Fanta.
You give
I
it
do
tier
not
3.
enjoy strawberry Fanta. Tier
So-
3.
Artificial strawberry
Yeah.
is one of my favorite artificial
it-
flavors.
But it's really artificial with
I know,
Fanta.
and I don't know why, but this is a tier 1 for me.
Wow.
This is one where when I see it at Carl's Jr., because that's like the only place I can find it.
Yeah.
I'm like, strawberry Fanta. So I get excited whenever I see it because it's not a very common occurrence. So I'm giving
no,
this
I
one a
don't-
tier 1. I apologize.
I never drink these Fanta flavors because the full
Not even
sugar.
orange?
No, the full sugar.
Orange is
like,
quite
it
good.
scares me off.
Don't
They're
you want
all-
a Fanta, Jacob?
They're all. I don't want a
Fascist
fascist Fanta. They're all three tasty. Orange and strawberry I like probably more. But yeah, all that sugar they need like. Anyway, the only time I can get a diet, you know where that is, Kent?
I don't want to hear it.
Coke Freestyle. Thank
Yeah.
you, Coke. All right, next
Hey, yeah.
one up is Fresca.
So this came out in
Who owns Fresca?
the Coca-Cola company.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. We should mention that. I think we did mention the Fanta was
Most of these
Yeah.
are Cokes. We'll
most of these
mention
are
if
Coke.
they aren't.
Yeah,
think
just
it's been all Coke
assume it's
so
Coke
far.
unless we say otherwise. Like Dad's Reaper, I think is the only one we have.
Oh, yeah, Dad's.
talked about that isn't.
That's just an indie, right?
Oh, and Barks.
Anybody
oh, no,
buy
Barks
it?
is now Coca-Cola
Yeah, Barks
too.
is
Yeah.
Coke. Yeah.
So this was introduced in 1966, borrowing the word fresca, meaning fresh.
Fresca's from
Spanish.
1966.
1966.
Oh, I thought this was like a new thing.
So it was originally only a sugar-free diet soda, and then it became it was a popular sugar-free soda. But then people wanted the flavor, but they wanted the soda in it. So there's other countries where they have Citra,
Yeah.
which is basically fresca with sugar in it. Which
Oh, okay.
I want to try. Because
Yeah, me too.
It probably tastes
So
pretty good.
here, the new popular flavors are like peach, citrus, and black cherry, which are pretty good actually. They actually add some sugar to the Fresca because I feel like the grapefruit. I don't like grapefruit itself, but
no one likes grapefruit.
they shouldn't.
Some
When
people
eat
do,
it for
but it's
breakfast,
crazy, yeah.
it's kind of perverted a little bit. Grapefruit's
perverted?
Grapefruit eating is perverted.
Yeah, my family used to do that when I was growing up, and I would try, and
Yeah.
they even had these fancy little spoons for it. You know, the little like pokey ends, and
Yeah.
I'm like, This is the worst. Why are you guys doing this? It just made me shudder every time.
Yeah, the sharp spoons. Yeah, the little
Yeah,
serrated
cut
edges.
my tongue. I'm like, you're basically putting knives in your mouth, eating like citrus pain. You know, I'm like, why? Is
you for
anyone
that,
making
Jake.
you do this?
Oh, also, if you've ever tried the drink Quattro down in Argentina, for example, that's also Fresca as well.
Oh,
It's
is
just
it?
marketed
Okay.
under a different label. So this is actually it's an interesting soda because grapefruit's awful.
Yeah.
But this is like
But Fresca's nice, yeah.
lime and grapefruit. It's kind of a pleasant taste, honestly, the combination there.
Yeah, I agree with you there.
I think, it's kind of presidential, if you will.
Presidential.
Yes.
This sounds like a segue.
Apparently, President Lyndon B. Johnson was a huge Fresca drinker, and he
Terrible president, by the
had
way.
the buzzer boxes back
Yeah.
in the day.
Now we
You-
know why.
You buzz like different buzzers. So
One
had-
was like the codes for the nukes.
one
One's
was
a
for
Fresca.
Fresca. I'm not
Stop
kidding.
that.
It said features it had 4
One was
buzzers.
to order the
One to
assassination of
Page's
JFK.
secretary, 1 for the chief of staff, and 2 for a military valet stationed in the small office next to the Oval Office. He would bring Johnson either a Fresca or coffee, depending on which button the president pushed.
Was
Wow.
Fresca always no sugar?
It's how it started out. It was a diet drink initially.
So it actually originally had cyclamates, which was a chemical. It was banned by the FDA in 1969.
Yum, yum, yum.
So, but here's the thing: it is now
Now
banned.
they're back.
They're not back in the soda.
Oh.
In other countries, they still use cyclamates. They said it causes cancer, but here's what they did to these rats. These
no.
poor
Why
rats.
on the food shows do we have to get so gross?
Oh, I'm very curious.
So you know how like rats are used for experiments, and it's really kind of harsh. They basically use the equivalent of 550 cans of soda a day. So not 550 cans, but the equivalent for their size, 550 cans of soda a day.
yeah, I wonder if that'll cause them any
and
problems.
you develop,
I just imagine little tiny cans, and it got really cute for a second.
and they're like, I gotta drink another. And they obviously develop bladder tumors. But like, who in this world is drinking 550 cans of soda a
Lyndon
day?
B. Johnson.
Apparently,
yeah, apparently.
So
Actually, so it had cyclamates initially, which were banned by the FDA, and then
Yes.
it went with saccharin, which
Yes.
was also found to be problematic.
not anymore.
I thought saccharin was bad now.
Not anymore.
Aspartame.
They can't even claim that anymore.
Weird.
Same thing. They make rats drink so much, and then cancer is caused because it's 550 cans a day. This is a tier 2. It's kind of delightful.
By the way, guys, I hesitate to bring this up because I know it will sway the opinion of the audience, maybe in the favor of Fresca, and it may change your vote, Kent. But Fresca was also the favorite beverage of American actor John Hillerman, best known for his role as Higgins on Magnum P.I. Dun, 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 dun,
Tier 1.
dun, dun, dun. Yeah. Yeah, I bet.
It's tier 2.
Tier 1 Hawaii show, but this is a tier 2 drink.
Yes, it is.
Tier 1 drink because I want the sodas without the sugar. And so the best ones without the sugar, this one rises to the top.
I would agree with that sentiment. This is one of the best drinks without sugar.
It is. It's definitely one of the better ones. No,
Probably because
question.
the grapefruit bitterness covers up the bitterness of the.
Yeah, and they also have a black
artificial
cherry
flavors.
and a peach flavor, which are both quite good as well.
So that's a freestyle fan.
Baconsale
yeah.
approved.
Baconsale approved freestyle
I'm
machine.
quitting the show. Too soon.
Now it was. It turns out it was the freestyle machine. Okay. All right. Next one is Jolt Cola.
Jolt.
Created in 1985 by CJ Rap. That's a cool name. What is that? A tier CJ Rap?
Rap.
By the
Is
way,
it really good or
this
really
is-
terrible? I
This
don't
is
know.
not a Coca-Cola drink. This is by the Jolt Company Incorporated, later known as Wet Planet Beverages.
I don't like that.
That's disgusting. Tier
So
3.
This is a highly
Tier
caffeinated
3
beverage.
company name.
The slogan was "All the sugar, twice the caffeine," and it's since been changed to "Maximum caffeine, more power."
Jolt Cola was like an urban.
Is this still around?
Kind of. I'll get there. This was kind of an urban legend when you were having sleepovers. Like, let's say, hey, you want to play Street Fighter 2 over at my house? And we'll trade controllers and
Okay.
try to be Vega and Sega? It's like, yeah, well, how are we going to stay up so late? Jolt! It's got twice the power. And so Jolt Cola was this thing that was like the energy drink before energy drinks were popular.
Yeah.
And it did have a lot of caffeine. Granted, things have outdone it by far now. And it wasn't very good at the time. You only drank it for the caffeine. In 2003, a gum manufacturer bought Jolt and made a line of caffeinated
I
gum.
think you're saying Joel. It is really weirding me out.
Jolt Hilton.
Jolt.
No,
Yeah, Jolt Hilton. And so
and I'm
now,
the fastest man alive.
so you were talking about slogans and like these mints and gum. The slogan is chew more, do more.
Ugh.
Don't you hate that?
Ew.
I actually kind of
Says
like it.
Jolt
You
Hilton.
would, Jolt Hilton.
I like that. Jolt Hilton.
So Jolt actually filed for bankruptcy in 2009.
Yes, I did.
and then they came back just in the past few years. You can now find it at Dollar General.
Good job,
So-
Jolt.
Thank you.
This is a tier 3. It was not good.
It's not good. This is a tier 3.
Have you guys remember tasting this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember seeing the can and
Really
and
bitter?
I
I remember seeing it, but that's it.
I remember
didn't have a
seeing
lot
the
of sugar
can and
taste.
seeing all the sugar, twice the caffeine. I remember being like, I thought it was double the sugar, double the caffeine, but I remember being like, oh, this is a crazy.
It felt
soda.
dangerous,
This
right?
is a bad one. My mom won't let me have it.
Let's get Big League Chew and some Jolt Cola.
And some of that beef jerky that's shredded in a tin.
Candy cigarettes. My mom will be so mad.
We're such rebels, Kent.
It's your turn to play M. Bison. Can we do a whole show like that?
please
Save it
do.
for our teenage.
Or let's just have a sleepover and do all
Teenage
those
show.
things.
All right, Jolt Hilton is now calming down because we're
'Cause
going to
Mellow yellow.
Call it mellow yellow.
Quite right.
This is a highly caffeinated citrus flavored
good song.
drink introduced in 1979 to compete with Mountain Dew.
Yes.
Mellow
The Mountain Dew was out and
yellow.
people were loving it, and Coke's like, we got to do something with that. So they ripped off a song.
I was just gonna ask. Do we know the history? Is it related to the song?
No,
Because-
it's honestly just a play on the words. Like that was a popular song, I think in '77.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't remember who it's by right now. Why is it that's escaping me?
And they've done this thing where they will try to compete with everything with Mountain Dew.
Donovan. It's by a band called Donovan.
Yeah.
Yeah, Donovan. That's right.
And so like Mountain Dew has Code Red, and so they're like, we have Mellow Yellow Cherry. And they also have like a melon flavor and a peach flavor. And now Mountain Dew has every sort of color.
On Freestyle, Kent, they do.
They do.
All types of both.
Because they started Mellow Yellow began to replace Vault on Coca-Cola Freestyle machines, so you can find Mellow Yellow almost everywhere.
I got to be honest. When I use a Freestyle machine, I
You've never
never get
even been
Coke
to one,
because
have
the
you?
Coke is disgusting. I actually get Diet Mellow Yellow and I get raspberry peach squirts in there. Truth be told.
I wish you wouldn't use the word squirts when you say that.
Do you want me to stop using squirts altogether?
Even just squirt would be okay. Like,
One squirt.
Yeah,
But the
I get
thing
peach,
you guys don't
peach
realize
squirt.
is
you know?
the Mellow Yellow, as much as you may mock it, had some of the best product placement
Oh,
ever.
absolutely.
Because
Really?
it was on Cole Trickle's car
Oh, gosh.
in Days of Thunder.
There's nothing to a ball cat right there.
I'm
Tom
balking.
Cruise.
I am full of bulk.
1990 NASCAR-based movie Days of Thunder, and it was like
Mellow
prominently
Yellow.
featured Mellow Yellow.
Yeah.
I remember that car. Also, it was also Ernest. Remember Ernest?
Yeah, he had those little commercials.
He had Mellow Yellow commercials. He had Ernest from Ernest Goes to Camp doing Mellow Yellow commercials. Make the yellow wheel move. Know what I mean, Vern?
Yeah. And we know you love Ernest so much.
You know it. My wife hates him.
Yeah. So I am a Mountain
Things
Dew
even
fan, but we're not talking about Mountain Dew in this show.
We're talking about
when I
Mellow
need
Yellow.
the next best thing, and when I'm using a Coke Freestyle machine, this is what I go for. For me, it's a tier 1.
It is tier
It's a
one.
second-rate product,
Tier
but it's
one.
a tier 1.
I'll get the Mellow Yellow with some of those flavor add-ons as well.
squirts?
Oh, no, just
I thought-
plural. No, not plural. Singular.
Singular. I thought I was being generous with a tier 2, and you gave it a tier 1.
It's a tier 1.
Oh, it's tasty. It's tasty. I like
Because if I can't get Mountain Dew, then I'll go for Mellow Yellow
Do
squirts.
you think you can tell a difference if you had
No.
like a blind taste
Squirt.
test?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
No
All
question.
of these. I have such experience with soda that I'm going to die next year. I could tell you exactly, what
on
I'm
the
drinking.
diet side, Joel, I could tell Mountain Dew and Mellow Yellow instantly. Yeah. All right, are you ready for the next one?
Yes, please.
Indeed.
Minute Maid.
The amazing soda.
No, we're talking about
So
the,
Minute-
the lemonade,
Yeah,
right?
Minute Maid is like a brand, right?
yeah,
There's
I mean, it has
orange
the
juice
orange juice,
concentrate
yeah,
and all
yeah.
that.
But primarily, we're talking about this is the carbonated.
Does Coke own this?
It's not even really carbonated.
No, I'm saying it's the non-carbonated option they put in a bunch. Like you get a cooler, and
Yeah.
it's like all the carbonated drinks. Then you get like
It's like, hey, you want a
lemonade
canker sore?
or the
Try some of our
strawberry
lemonade.
Yeah, but it's the lemonade and the strawberry
so
lemonade.
true.
which are the
It's
big ones.
disgusting. I freaking hate that lemonade Minute Maid crap.
No,
it's
but
so terrible.
It's like lemon juice. It's straight lemon juice.
It
No,
is
it's
lemon
not even-
juice. It's like it says
full
like
of sugar.
3% juice on the back of the can.
No, but it feels like how you have those things in the like
It's
lemon
so
squeezer
acidic.
and it burns your mouth.
Yeah.
That's what Minute Maid lemonade tastes
I
like.
love it though. I really
Really?
love it. In fact, can I share?
Coca-Cola owns this, by the way,
this is
Minute Maid
Coca-Cola.
altogether.
Can I share a quick memory?
terrible
Absolutely.
product.
But I want to say first of all, these are available in flavors of orange, diet orange, lemon lime, diet lemon lime, grapefruit punch, strawberry, pineapple, black cherry. Some of the lemonades.
yeah, that's a lot of them. But I hate it with all my heart.
This was and Coca-Cola actually acquired Minute Maid in 1960. But one of my favorite memories, and I just bring this up, is there's a picture out there somewhere online, somewhere in the world, of me and Kent walking on the street,
Okay.
and I'm holding a bright pink bottle of strawberry Minute Maid lemonade, and Kent's holding a bottle of beer or a can of beer.
What?
You remember that?
No.
So
this
Was I
sounds
drunk?
familiar.
no, but I remember it was just funny because it was during our Dutch oven cook-off back when we worked together.
Oh, because we were
making a beer batter for beer battered onion rings, I think it was. And so they
That's so perfect for us.
That's the thing is like, it was this picture like you're all, I think you were even smoldering at the camera while holding this like can of beer. And then I'm like, got my pink bottle of
Hi,
lemonade.
everybody.
Like, hi, I'm a Boy Scout.
It's fruity.
Yeah. So that's
That's perfect.
I do really enjoy these. This is one of the things I actually will grab first out of a cooler is the lemonade or the strawberry lemonade. So this is a tier 1 for me.
Wow.
Wow.
Even though I've kind of hated on
Tier
it,
4.
it's a tier 2 for me.
Tier 2? Really?
Yeah, because I do like the lemonade flavor.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's good
so
for the
bad.
throat too. Like if like voice acting and singing. And
Oh,
stuff
I
like
can see
Not
that,
good,
yeah.
but like it helps kind of.
Because like
actually-
the bubbles in other stuff would ruin that. It takes your oxygen away.
Right.
It's the worst lemonade I've ever had, and it actually makes me a little bit sick when I drink it. So I
We don't
avoid
drink
it.
sugary though. What if it was a diet lemonade?
No, I've had. Well, their diet, they actually have a light version, which is 80% as bad.
Okay.
So yeah, but I have.
I like how you say it's not better, but it's just less bad.
It's less bad,
Yeah.
and 20% less bad. You know, I mean, but yeah, I have had to take the light lemonade, and I'll mix it in like a Sprite Zero or something, so it'll taste like something. But if I spread it out, it helps a little bit. But okay,
All right.
next up is Mr. Pibb.
Mr. Pibb, created in 1972, discontinued in 2001.
And then back is Pip Extra.
Yeah, they got Pibb Extra.
It's weird because everyone still calls it Mr. Pip. Actually,
They
it
do.
started out as Peppo. Like actually, the Coca-Cola
terrible
company
name.
created Peppo to compete with Dr. Pepper because they didn't think people could understand that Peppo was another name for Peppo.
Yeah. They got sued, obviously.
They did get sued.
I'm
for trademark
Coca-Cola.
infringement,
I
and
have
they had change it.
to act defensively all the time.
But yeah, it's not even the regular Mr. Pip anymore. They got a new formula, added extra cinnamon flavor, and they market it as quote artificially flavored spicy cherry soda.
Yeah, spicy
Which does
cherry.
not sound
that
good.
sounds weird. I'm intrigued to try it now.
This
though.
is something that Coke made, and because they really want to be popular in like southern states where Dr. Pepper was really, really popular at the time. But then in the 80s, Coke kind of disregarded their own products because then they formed a partnership with Dr. Pepper for bottling, essentially, because Coke was
really?
very involved with bottling and canning.
Yeah.
And so anything Dr. Pepper sold, even not being owned by Coke, they had to give a portion of those profits to Coke. And so they're like, and I guess we have Mr. Pibb, but we're actually going to help you sell Dr. Pepper.
So they kind of downplayed it.
You can still get original Mr. Pibb soda for $24.95 per can.
$24.95
per can.
Oh wow.
Isn't that ridiculous?
Well, I mean,
And
it's expired and stuff, right? Like
I
by
think you can
decades.
find it elsewhere in the world, but you can't find it here in the States.
Man.
The Pibb Extra.
Pip Extra. I gave this one a tier 2 though.
I did as well.
Because it's one of those things.
It's a second-rate Dr. Pepper.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. It's like you have to settle for it, but it's there.
Yeah. All right. Next up is Shasta Black Cherry. This is our first Shasta.
Let's
so
just talk about
We're going to talk
Shasta.
Shasta for a minute. Yeah.
Tuck some Shasta stuff to me.
This is the Malto Mill of sodas.
That's what I have. Do you? I literally have. It's the Malto meal of sodas right there.
Do you really?
I do.
You guys should get married. What?
Think about Malto Mill, and they have giant bags of cereal.
That is very accurate.
Shasta, you get 3-liter bottles. Like
Is
you
it
have a
3?
party?
I thought it was 2-liter bottles.
No,
they're 3.
Oh,
Yeah,
they have the
yeah.
big ones. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because they're like, hey,
Yeah.
2 liters not enough for your party? Here's a 3-liter bottle.
Or when you walk
can't
out of the
hold this
grocery
because it's
store-
too heavy, we don't care.
When you walk out of the grocery store and they have those vending machines that nobody uses,
Yeah.
you see a little thing,
35
25 cents
cents
for a
Yeah.
can. I was like, Dad, give me one. And he was like, okay, quarter for a can, sure.
So the company name of Shasta is derived from Mount Shasta, Northern California, and the spring. And this was started in 1889. And at the time, they bottled mineral water from those same springs.
And they were the ones who actually produced. Their first soft drink was ginger ale, but they were the one. They primarily were used for mixers,
Yeah,
for
for
alcoholic
alcohol,
drinks
yeah.
at first. But they were the ones who introduced many industry standards of soda today, like the soft drinks in cans. That was Shasta who started that, or the low calorie soft drinks. That was also Shasta. Or the people that put distribution of cans and bottles directly to grocers through wholesale channels, like selling wholesale to grocery stores. That was Shasta. And now everybody's doing it.
Well, it's funny. Every store kind of has their own off-brand soda. And I think Shasta was kind of the original. It's like, you want the cheaper version that's still really good in some cases?
In some cases.
It has to be Shasta.
In most cases. It has to be Shasta. That's
Yeah.
the slogan.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yeah, Shasta produces more than 30 varieties of soda. We're going to list them all now.
Oh, really?
We're going to tier them all now.
Actually, I do want to go through a couple.
We'll save it for our Shasta
And
show.
it's not mushroom. There's grapefruit Zazz with 2 Z's. Mountain Rush,
Is that a
which
Utah
I
one?
quite enjoy. Tiki Punch, which is still around.
Yeah, that one's good.
Dr. Shasta.
Wonder what that's supposed to be.
Yeah, who knows?
And California Dreamin', which is actually
What is
orange
that?
creamsicle. Sounds amazing to me.
I'm curious.
I do like that one, actually.
The
I like California Dreamin'.
discontinued flavors of Shasta.
Ooh, can I do those ones?
Yeah.
So I have ones such as chocolate,
Gross.
horchata,
Disgusting. Horchata, maybe.
red
Probably
apple,
not.
red apple soda, strawberry
Maybe.
peach, and tiki mist.
Tiki Mist.
I had tiki mist a while back.
Sounds like
and I had to
something
see
you
a
get after you have
doctor.
some bad Mexican food.
Yeah.
No, I was being vague. You were being graphic.
Yeah. But here's why I love Shasta. Because in 1993, I'm speaking to all you wannabe Gen Xers, maybe millennials out there.
Gather around,
They
children.
marketed to children with 8-ounce, those little chubby cans.
Yeah, little, what do they call them, like squatter,
Yeah.
or something like that. Cans.
And they were Nintendo cans, and they had Mario Punch and Princess Toadstool Cherry flavors. And I mean, that was like bragging rights when you had those. It was less soda for sure, but still, they were so adorable. I still wish I had some on my mantle because they were cool.
they are cool.
Yeah. But let's talk about black cherry first.
Black Cherry.
Black cherry is delicious.
It is, and it's one of those weird things that I'm like, why haven't more people tried to capitalize on the black cherry soda market?
Yeah.
Because Shasta's got the corner
It's
on
unique, yeah.
and it's tasty. And this is one, like when I go to my grandparents' house,
But do they have diet?
it would either be
They do have diet most of their sodas, yes.
I would get either root beer, kiwi strawberry, black cherry, or raspberry cream. Like those were my
Yeah.
go-to for. So this is obviously a tier one. For
It's
me.
a tier 1, easy.
It's been a long time since I've had that one, but I remember, and we've got the next. Well,
Next couple, let's just run through them
yeah,
real quick.
we got cola, kiwi strawberry, and root beer.
So Shasta Cola is the worst product of Shasta, actually.
It's so bad.
It's like they just went for flat Coke on this one. It's a tier 3. Joel?
That's good.
Tier 3, definitely. It's a cola. It's going to be tier 3 for
Kiwi
me.
strawberry?
Kiwi strawberry. I've
Tier
had that one.
one.
That one's
This
delicious.
is tippity top of the
Tier
Shasta
one,
Mountain.
Tier 1.
Oh, that's funny because I remember that one too. Yeah.
Oh, you should. You should remember it
It's
because
been
you should have had it
years.
yesterday.
You know what the best
It's
thing?
that good.
You know the best thing about this soda? It tastes exactly like a kiwi and a strawberry mixed together.
Sure it does.
It's so. The thing is,
Sugar. It tastes like sugar.
It tastes like sugar, but it's like this fruity sugar. But there's a certain flavor to it. It just makes me laugh because it doesn't taste anything like kiwi or strawberry.
No.
But I love this
but
flavor.
the flavor is nostalgic and still delicious.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh,
it totally
I love
is.
kiwi strawberry. And then we have root beer to finish it off.
Seemed like it was pretty good.
Shasta root
It's been a
beer.
long time though.
Yeah, it's
Joel,
not-
how do you like this? Because you are a root beer fan.
I am a root beer fan, and this one is still a tier 1 for me. Like this is one of those root beers, like I said, that I grew.
You're
up
kind of a
on.
leery tier 1 on this.
This is
it looks
definitely
like.
a nostalgia pick for me because the Shasta root beer really does remind me of my grandparents. It reminds me of staying up at the cabin. It reminds me of working in my grandpa's garden, like just sitting
Yeah.
back and drinking a root beer. This is definitely a nostalgia pick for me because it's tier 1.
It's, I think, the lowest of the root beers, and so it's a tier 3 for me.
I put Barks below this one.
Really? Oh, no, that's Bite. Bargs.
Bargs.
All right, next up, we're coming back around to a big name under cola, which is Sprite.
Colorless, caffeine-free, and lemon lime.
Lyman, as they like to call
Yeah.
it. So this is a Coca-Cola company, a drink introduced in 1961 in response to 7-Up.
So this was first made...
Response. One more time. We got that there.
It's what the Coca-Cola company does. And honestly, I don't think there's a big difference. Like I think
It's
if we
like the
did a
Marvel
blind taste
DC
test-
thing, right?
Well, I think we did a blind taste test.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you taste the difference between 7-Up and Sprite? I don't think so. Same exact drink.
You're wrong. You're absolutely wrong.
We got to do it then. Blind taste
Oh,
test. We got to
in
do
a
it.
second.
I would love to be able to try that because I just
That's a fun
believe
idea.
Yeah.
It's basically the same drink.
So this one was first made in West Germany, so not Nazi Germany. So
Oh,
this was, like you said,
close
early
one.
60s. And it was called Fanta. So this is a Fanta product.
So this is from the good old times.
Well, it was clear lemon.
yeah, Fanta Claire Citrone, and that's clear lemon Fanta.
Oh, you were going for the German word
Yeah,
there.
yeah. And, you know, this has been popular, I would say 80s and 90s has really picked up a lot of steam. And they're like, oh, teens love Sprite. And so they had the slogan as, I like the Sprite in you.
You know what's funny?
And
Ken?
that was discontinued in 1994
You-
because it's
you know, it's
awkward.
funny.
That's weird.
Yes.
I can tell you that Grant Hill played basketball.
Yes.
I can't tell you what team he played for, but I can tell you that Grant Hill drinks Sprite
Isn't that weird?
because that was the market. He's like, Grant Hill drinks Sprite.
Yeah.
That's my sports knowledge is based on a Sprite commercial.
That's good marketing right
That's
there.
what's stuck in my head.
Yeah. Speaking of marketing, there's a commercial I want everyone to go to YouTube right now to find. look up Sun Fizz Sprite commercial. It's a very clever but a horror film, I should say.
It's a weird parody where this family's around drinking.
It's like a Capri Sun commercial.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we got an orange or Sun Fizz. What do they call it? Sun Fizz?
Yeah, they're like, what do we got? We got some purple stuff. There's some Sun Fizz, and then you see this.
The logo pops off and becomes a real life animated character on their table.
Oh no!
Hi, drink Sun Fizz.
And they freak out and they all start running away. And then the thing
mom and her
chases
two
them
kids
around. She's
running.
like, run, children, run!
drink me, I'm delicious.
And
It's a horror film.
This sounds awesome.
By the way, still unresolved. Ended on a cliffhanger.
We don't
No
know
one knows what happened.
We don't know, but we know we're supposed
That
to
mom
obey.
is a goner.
We're supposed to obey our thirst.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they used slogans such as LL Cool J, A Tribe Called Quest, KRS-One, Missy Elliott, Grand Poobah, Common, Fat Joe, Nas.
Yeah.
All of
but
these-
image is nothing. Thirst is everything, right?
Exactly. They're like totally like
Yeah.
double speaking here. It's like, yeah, image is nothing, but we got all these celebrities who like it. Grant Hill drinks Sprite. But this is, like I said, I would spend 50 cents every day drinking a Sprite after lunch. And I, for some reason, collected the bottle caps.
Oh, you did?
Like, because, you could win stuff with some of them.
Yeah.
But, like, I even kept the ones that I didn't win. And then I ended up not redeeming the ones that I did win stuff.
Okay.
So I could have been a millionaire. But this is definitely a tier one.
It's a tier one. You can
Love
mix it with
Sprite.
anything, and it's delicious.
So good.
All right, next up is Surge.
We're sorry for everyone. We just peaked everything.
Sorry, headphones listeners.
So this is a citrus-flavored soft drink first produced in the 1990s by Coke to compete once again
With
with
Mountain,
Mountain
Dew.
Dew.
Yeah, because Mellow Yellow bombed. I mean, essentially, they said that it was like they wanted to do this and Mellow Yellow to hit
think
against
about
Mountain
it.
Dew.
Mountain Dew in the 90s, and we'll talk about that next time, that was like
killing it.
Been there, done that, right? The whole thing was extreme game centered. And so they're like, we need that too. We need a hardcore edge. Surge.
Yeah. So they just like doubled down on it.
They really did. In fact, the original name was MDK, Mountain Dew Killer.
No.
Yeah, MDK. But they followed it after this launched in Norway as Urge in 1996. And in Norway, it's been popular ever since. And then they're like,
It's more awkward.
yeah, Urge. I'm going to drink some Urge.
Well, the reason we keep yelling, by the way, is because they have these commercials where, like, someone would be standing on top of a rooftop and just go,
Well, they go through an obstacle
"Surge!"
course.
and then they have all these people run
Yeah.
through the obstacle course.
Yeah.
Like it was the
It's like
call
Mad
to arms.
Max.
Well, it was like high adventure skiers and stuff too,
Yeah.
right? Like
extreme sports with 4 X's.
Yeah.
So it's funny. So this one actually ended in 2003. Coke got rid of it. There was Facebook pages, and I think it was in 2012. There was called the Surge Movement, and people begged,
2014,
petitioned,
yes. Yeah.
and then 2014 it came back and is now a regular in your very own favorite freestyle machines.
Freestyler.
I don't think I've noticed that in the freestyle. It was at Burger King, I saw, when
Yeah,
we were doing
but
our
now-
Burger King stuff.
Also, I want to point this out because it made me laugh.
Yeah.
In 1997, Coca-Cola settled a trademark dispute with Babson Brothers, an industrial cleaning product company whose cow milking machine has been known as Surge since 1925.
Can we use the name Surge at your cow milking machine? That's hilarious.
Can you imagine that? It's like, all right, time to milk the cows. Surge!
I love this show.
Oh my gosh.
Surge
That's
is
the
the
best fact of the show.
Surge is the tier 2. Mellow Yellow tier 1.
That's where I
Surge is
put it,
trying
too.
too hard, and they have way more sugar than regular Mountain Dew. Probably more caffeine.
More caffeine as well, as I recall.
and
yeah.
more maltodextrin, which improves
Well,
mouthfeel in food.
Yeah, that's one of the best parts. Yeah.
I put this as a tier 3. I
Yeah.
was never a fan of Surge.
Never a fan.
I prefer Ecto Cooler.
And yeah, exactly.
Okay, next up is Tab.
Diet Cola introduced in 1963.
Which this was like it was.
In the 60s and 70s,
It got really big,
really big.
but this is the only reason I really know about Tab. Well, I guess my aunt drank it a lot.
Everyone's aunt drank Tab. Let's be honest. I think that should be the slogan.
Everyone's aunt has it.
But it's because of Back to the Future when he's
Yes.
like, and it's a joke. He's like, "Give me a tab." He's like, "How am I supposed to give you a tab unless you buy something or something?" Like that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give you a tab unless you pay for something. Yeah, whatever he says.
So Coke has done this before. So like we said, they introduced Diet Coke in 1982. Tab was still around. They killed their own product and then said, "Oh, we'll keep Tab around. It's fine," even though they're kind of the same formula.
I mean, this is honestly like, what do they call that? The fallback.
Yes.
Like when you're dating someone but you don't want to let them go. So you
I
kinda just
wouldn't
keep
know what you
hanging
mean,
around.
Joel. I've never
Okay,
done
come on,
that.
You just did this. Like
Stop that
like
right
4
now.
days
Stop
ago.
it. But there's obviously a cult fan base around Tab. Everyone's aunts is now part of a rabid cult fan base. And you can't find it as much anymore, but you're going to find it at certain stores like Reams or. And the reason it's called Tab is they wanted to market this to consumers because remember, they didn't want to use the diet name. So they said this will keep tabs on your weight. Keep tabs. Tab.
Okay.
Yeah, and once again, this was made with saccharin, and so the government made them put a warning on the can.
Does it come with like a tapeworm or anything?
Yes, it does.
Okay, cool.
But in 2000, they actually said you can remove the saccharin warning because saccharin was removed from a list of harmful carcinogens, and in 2010, the EPA removed it as a hazardous substance. So once again, all chemicals are bad, but saccharin is definitely not the worst. It's like 459th on the list.
Yeah.
But tab is a tier 3.
Yeah.
A tier 3.
Oh,
You
yeah.
gonna throw a tier 3 out just like
Absolutely.
that?
Boom.
It's a tier 3.
Yeah, tier 3.
Yeah.
All right, next up is vanilla
You would tap unless you order something.
Coke, which we should have squeezed into the Cokes earlier, but didn't. So vanilla Coke.
Introduced in 2002, canceled 3 years later, brought back in 2007.
Oh, it's a roller coaster of emotion. So this is one where the ordinary Coke already has vanilla in
Yeah,
it.
it does.
But then they add a little bit more vanilla this one. Kind of like the cherry one back in the day. They
Yeah.
used to put cherry syrup in there. They used to put vanilla in there to give it a little thing. The ad, I remember, I looked up this ad actually, and it has Chaz Palminteri. I can never say his name, but you'd recognize him. He's a gangster in a lot of movies. But he's in the commercial, and a young Aaron Paul is actually in the commercial as well.
Oh, wow.
And like there's a hole in the wall and in like an alleyway. Like he's walking by and there's a hole, and Aaron Paul like, what's that? And he sticks his head through, and then like a gangster like holds his head and it's like, hey, congratulations on your curiosity. Here's a vanilla Coke. And it's just one of the weirdest commercials, but
Yeah,
Stuck
that's
in your head,
strange.
apparently.
So they actually developed this in 1982 for the World's Fair, and then
Did it
they,
win an award
No,
for something?
they held on to it because they announced new Coke, and it failed so miserably. They said, "Nope, we're not going to introduce any sort of new flavor other than cherry Coke." And so they held on to this, like I said, till 2002. People stopped buying it like a year or two after it came out. And then I think people really started liking flavored sodas, and the flavored Cokes became very popular. So since 2007, this has been a very popular brand of Coke,
it has been.
but it's not good. It's a tier 3.
Yeah, I've had it. I don't think it was very good.
Yeah.
I gave it a tier 2.
Tier 2?
Tier 2.
But why?
because
This is the
vanilla-
highest ranking Coke on the list for you then.
This is.
Over cherry Coke.
Yes, because the cherry tastes like medicine. Like I said, the vanilla actually kind of calms down the Coke flavor and makes it a little more root beery, a little more cream
Okay.
soda-y, like that kind of flavor.
Yeah.
It helps me tolerate this one more. Now, that's not to say I
about
really
the
wanted
orange
to put it
vanilla?
in tier 2, but once again, it bubbled up, and I was like, you know what? I'm okay with it there.
All right.
Wasn't the orange vanilla released this year from Coke? They did a whole push for
yeah,
that.
for Diet Coke, yes.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Orange vanilla is good on
Gross.
its own. Don't put that in a Coke. Like, if you want orange vanilla, get that Dreamsicle one from Shasta. That's what you should
That
get.
makes sense.
All right, I think we're down to the final one.
Are you ready for the final soda?
Ba-da-da-ba-da-ba-dum.
Soda pop. It is
Coke.
It
Fizzy drink.
Barks
There you go.
red cream.
You've made so much progress.
Jake learned something.
There you go.
Yay.
A little progress for Jacob.
So Barks red cream. Oh, wait.
So Barks Red Cream, this is obviously from Barks, like we talked about. This is, I could not find an exact beat on when this was introduced,
No.
but I have to ask, why is it red?
I don't know.
Like, I don't
Feels
understand.
richer when it's red.
Not really, though.
Well,
like,
do you know why other red cream sodas are red? Because it's based on a bubblegum flavor.
It's blood probably.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, most sodas they use a primary bubblegum flavor. This one is more vanilla. So it's like fruity, but mostly vanilla, and that is what makes Barks Red Cream different from other red cream sodas.
I don't really know many other red cream sodas. Most of the cream sodas I know are like cream colored.
Yeah,
So this
but
one,
I
this
don't know
one
why.
turned out-
Yeah, I think they're just trying to be unique.
Yeah.
I did like this a lot when I was like a teenager. Like I think I drank it for like a solid month, and then, but it is also very medicine-y.
You can taste artificial flavoring.
Yes.
Which makes it a little less desirable than, say, other red cream sodas.
But it does have a very unique taste, much like
Very
a black
unique
cherry
taste.
sort of thing.
yeah, you know when you. I
It's
think you know
rich
when you're
and
drinking.
delicious and
Oh, you love this then.
Oh yeah, it's way too much sugar because there's no such thing as a diet for this because it's kind of
No.
the whole point.
Oh, heavens, no.
But it's like drinking a dessert, you know.
Okay,
Most
so
of these
it's
are.
is it kind of like a red cream butterbeer sort of
Yeah.
thing?
Not most of
Really
these are.
rich
A lot of these
tasting.
have like sharp things. Like this one, yeah, is exactly. It feels
Yeah.
like you've got like a
Soothing
butterbeer.
almost.
Soothing, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I still had to give it a tier 2.
It's a tier 2 for me as well because I'm at a tier 1s.
I was 2.
Yeah.
This is one that got bumped out.
Tier 1.
A high tier 1. High
All
tier
right,
2, I mean.
so tier 1 for you.
It's a high tier
2
one.
for Joel
Good
and
point.
I.
yeah.
We just got through 24 sodas. They were Coke, some Indies, and Shasta as well.
Yep.
Look, next year,
Let us know if you liked it.
Yeah, next year we do plan to do a Pepsi and Dr.
Let us
Pepper
know if
show.
We'll go to the other ones. We'll
Let us know if Pepsi's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll also play around with some other things, maybe some taste tests. Who knows what'll happen?
That would be. I would like to put my skills to the test.
It would be
honestly.
fun.
Yeah, but we appreciate you listening to this show. We want to know your opinion. Let us know where we got it right, where we got it wrong, and how to correctly pronounce Barks.
Please.
I think it's Barks.
But before we go, we do want to give a couple shout outs just to our patrons who support the show so kindly. So starting with I am the listener category, it's Terry Finley, A More Civilized Podcast, Stephen Ross, Adrian Gray, Chris Strout, Braden Winterton, Spencer Larson, Crew Dutler, and Infendo Radio, Steve Peacock.
Woohoo!
And also our Baking Council is Nicole D. Hale, Chris Anderson, Ryan Farron, Matt Smudro, and Reverse Listener. Thank you, everyone. We love you so much.
We really do appreciate it.
We really do.
And thank you just for listening.
Yeah. Thank you for listening to Baconsale. Spread the good word of Baconsale. Let others know what you think of it because, hey, that's how we got our Siri Date Night Baconsale winner,
Absolutely.
Kelsey Watts, was because a friend referred her from Baconsale.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. But if you want to find me, you can find me at 76Joel on Twitter, or you can find me performing with Quickwits. They perform every Saturday night at the Midville Performing Arts Center, including November 16th.
Perfect.
Quickwits Baconsale Night. For more details, go to qwcomedy.com or go to the Quickwits Facebook page.
If you want to find me on Twitter or Instagram, it's at Kenny3DD. If you want to read my movie reviews, it's ShowtimeShowdown.com.
You can find me on Twitter at Jacob A. Rogers and Baconsale on Twitter and on Instagram at Baconsale. But make sure you do check us out on patreon.com/Baconsale. We really could use and would really love your support there.
So until next time, Fanta, Fanta, don't you want a Fanta, Fanta, don't you want a Fanta, Fanta.
Bargs.
Hey, want to buy me a pop?
Ah, no, that made me cringe.
Hop on pop?
No, what?
No.
For impotence, stomach pain, scurvy, alcoholism, opium addictions, nervousness, and much, much more.
Well,
Jacob
the truth
has
is-
all those.
Oh, and it's helped
Yeah.
me with all of them.
Didn't have an 1812. That's crazy.
Maybe they did. You don't know. You weren't there for that war.
I wasn't. Maybe that's what the war was over.
It was the Cola Wars of 1812. Hey, this is Joel doing a sound check.
Hello, it's Joel.
No, it's not. Stop pretending to be me, Jacob.
I'm Joel. I have a fancy voice.
Jacob. I like walking around with pitchforks.
Is it no one going to be me?
You're you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You take care of that.
Well, I don't want to die. I just want my eyes to fail me.
Well, my mom would call it a soda pop, and if I was good, I would get one. How come none of the kids like spinach?
How are
Every
you not
day.
a diabetic?
I should be. I think deep inside there's a diabetic within
Give
me.
it time.
Well,
I think my inner child became a diabetic.
Hey, look, I'm being healthy. I don't exercise. I don't eat right, but I get water. We'll see who dies first.
One time, and this
What?
was... It seems more like it's a weakness than a superpower. I'm going to have to change my whole life now.
What have
Thanks
you been
a lot,
drinking?
guys. Are
Yeah.
you out of your mind? The
Him and Abe-
freestyle is like a blessing from heaven.
Thank you.
No
Thank you,
way.
Jacob.
It's not awesome.
But
it's a
what I was going to
blessing.
say is that
Hallelujah.
if you get it
Thank
in
you,
the...
angels who brought Coca-Cola freestyle.
It's a fountain
to
drink
Earth.
machine.
If you
We
get,
know it's not from this world.
It's like getting a raisin in your chocolate chip cookie. Diet
really
Coke is good
cool,
for stunts.
right? Your three grossness, all of them.
This started in Nazi Germany in
Grandpops.
1940.
Wait, what?
Fanta. It's great.
We're going to shut you down real quick because this is gross and you're evil. You can get it almost anywhere for a reasonable price. Fanta is for those with a passion for purple. So delicious, it should come with an addiction warning.
As I've gotten older, though, it's gotten a little more diabetes tasting.
Fascist Fanta.
Fascist Fanta. Don't
That's
you
it.
want a
Fascist Fanta?
And you scroll back down.
It's kind of perverted a little bit.
It's perverted.
Grapefruit eating is perverted.
You're basically putting knives in your mouth, eating like citrus pain.
Hey, you want to play Street Fighter 2 over at my house? And we'll trade controllers and
Okay.
try to be Vega? Yeah, well, how are we going to stamp slate? Jolt! It's got twice the power. Let's get Big League Chew and some Jolt Cola.
And some of that beef jerky that's shredded in a tin.
Candy cigarettes. My mom will be so mad.
We're such rebels, Kent.
It's your turn to play M. Bison.
I actually kind of
Says
like it.
Jolt
You
Hilton.
would, Joel Hilton.
I like that. Jolt Hilton.
Yeah, that's a lot of them, but I hate it with all my heart.
That's my sports knowledge is based on a Sprite commercial. All right, time to milk the cows. Surge!
Kent and I are here to tell you that drugs are awesome. Bargs.